Oh my gosh, we're live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the fourth episode of the Chucky Spoilers Review, hosted by yours truly, Taylor Field of GeekVerse Podcast. But before we get to that, it is time for our annual ritualistic plug session. So if you have to find anything GeekVerse related, you can do me a personal solid. You can check us out on our social media channels or on our home base, GeekVerse.ca. We're on Twitter, GeekVerseCast. We're on Facebook, GeekVerse Podcast. We're on everywhere. Literally, just go into the Google search bar, GeekVerse, and you'll find us. It's great. It's fabulous. What a time to be having a search engine at your disposal. So we are literally days away. Like what, 72 hours? Less than 72 hours? Tomorrow's Thursday, and then we're Friday. This Saturday, November 6th, we are going to be diving into our traditional annual Extra Life charity stream for the BC Children's Hospital. That is right. It is coming back around. We have a goal this year of $2,500. And if we get that, I get to shave this hair. My head looks so flat right now. I'm intentionally letting my hair look like this just to showcase the amount of locks and lockage on my head that needs to be snipped away. If we hit that goal of $2,500, I want to have that haircut. I want to have it done for the kids. I'm not the only one, though. If we hit the goal of $3,000, the one and only Jessica will shave her head and go completely bald alongside me. It'll be a fabulous time, but we need to hit that $3,000 mark for that. On top of that, me, Travis Kirklin, we did a newscast the other day. Check that out. We covered the Boba Fett trailer and the Morbius trailer. We dive into some other kind of news as well and some leaks. And then we also have another newscast that we're going to be dropping. That's going to include Guardians of the Galaxy review by Travis and Kirklin, and we're going to talk about some other stuff that's coming out of the Disney conference, or I'm not sure what you would call it, like their conference call where they're putting out a couple of leaks and rumors are kind of like leaking out of there a little bit. So we'll be discussing some of that stuff that's coming out of there. And what else do we got? Eternals is this week. Oh my God, yes. So there'll be some review of that. Be sure to check out Travis's Dexter retros as well. This weekend, we have the premiere for the new Dexter season that'll be dropping Sunday nights. So that'll be a good time. I'm not sure specifically the time. I think the show releases at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so we'll probably be doing like right after that. I imagine like 7 or 8 Pacific Standard Time, a review will go live. So be sure to check that out. And other than that, every Wednesday, for now, we'll see. When Hawkeye comes out, it may be subject to change. But as of now, every Wednesday is Chucky night. And that's where I come in. So we're going to get into some Chucky. Quick non-spoiler overall for this episode. This was crazy. I loved it. We got so much more further development in this show with the characters and everything. A couple of my predictions, not really predictions, but kind of hopes, I guess you could say, came true. So I'm glad that they've kind of been sticking to that, and we're getting accelerated now. I feel like we're getting into like some really hearty content in this show, and I'm super jazzed to see where this is going to go. Again, they haven't followed up with some things which they kind of gave us little tidbits of, which is fine, but we got a huge roster of information into the past, into the present, and I won't say necessarily where they're going, but just some cool little cameos and connections into the overall Chuckyverse, which it's great. As a Chucky fan, it's awesome to see everything kind of come to fruition. And again, I love that the show is kind of embracing its whole heritage of what it's built with all these different films. And we got a little bit more of display of that in this episode. So I'm super jazzed to talk about it. 3, 2, 1. If you haven't seen it, go watch it, and then we'll come back, we'll talk, but we're going to get into the spoilers now. So if you haven't seen Chucky episode 4 fingers, come back. 3, 2, 1. We are in the danger zone. So, where to start? We get a lot more coverage of his first kill post. So the previous episode, we got to see him kind of go through a little bit more of the fallout of him just killing his mom and that other serial killer, kind of discussing it with him and everything. And that was it. Now we get to see, obviously, he's in a boys' home, and things have completely, I guess, gone his way because he looks like he's really well off. Can't say if he's killed anyone. I'm taking this as, okay, he hasn't killed anyone since he killed his mom. This janitor gets on the wrong side of the foot with him, literally, because of his shoe scenario. He kills the janitor. He's a big fan of Peter Pan. and he's trying to rope in these kids at the boys' home and try and coax them in. I think that's a great reflection of what's going on right now in this show. And I say that because you have Jake, he's been trying to take under his wing and kind of coax in and turn into a killer. So we've really transitioned in this show, not just the show, in this franchise, from him trying to kill and possess people to him trying now to recruit, almost, you could say. Obviously, we got to see some interesting forms of possession in the past, but in this sense, I'm not getting the vibe that he's trying to possess Jake. I'm getting this big vibe that he's trying to coax him in, like he did in this boys' home. And this is just a great unexpected name drop, Eddie Caputo. And if you don't know who Eddie Caputo is, check back to the original Child's Play. He was the original partner in crime for Charles Lee Ray. So again, we got to see him as a little kid, which they didn't need to do, but they just threw it in there for the heck of it. Again, this show is just creating a cool little wrapped up little Chucky verse by having these little things kind of all intertwined. And I think that was just a cool little nod. But yeah, I was just thinking about how Eddie gets killed, which is unfortunate. Maybe that's a foreshadow as to obviously what's going on between Chucky and Jake, because Chucky obviously has a tendency to kill his partners. So needless to say, we got that Eddie reference. We have Jake just kind of dealing with the fallout of the fire that unfolded in the previous episode. And we got a little bit of insight into the parents' development and their dynamic. And I mentioned before and prior about it being kind of unexpected, where we got to see the parents of Lexi and then the aunt and uncle of Jake kind of toe to toe going at each other's kids, I guess you could say. I wasn't expecting them to tackle that. And I'm really glad they did, because a lot of this show and just a lot of these shows in general, you know, I haven't seen all of Riverdale. I'm just going to throw it in as like a basic example. You can correct me if I'm wrong, sure, whatever. But you throw in a show like Riverdale, and I feel like you have a general storyline that just focuses on the kids, and you don't really get a lot of development and a lot of stuff with the parents into what's going on with the kids. And I feel like a lot of these shows nowadays just focuses on that teen drama, and you don't get a genuine developing reaction from parents in these stories. And maybe I'm diving too far into the rabbit hole with it, but I feel like I'm really getting that and the struggle from these parents in this. They are informed by the teacher of the bullying that Lexi is doing on the Jake, and we're getting this whole kind of arc between them and this rift. And I really do appreciate them diving into this and fleshing out the parents as characters. I really do. We all know, again, that they haven't followed up with Jake's aunt, who obviously has that secret that Chucky was alluding to. We know that there's more to the story in the sense where obviously Caroline, there's going to be something going on there for sure, because she's not being killed by Chucky. She's being left alive. And Chucky obviously is putting together some kind of contingency, you could say, maybe, or who knows what. But it'll be interesting to see how that's going to develop, you know, with the relationship now with Caroline being in the hospital and she's not doing very good. I'm kind of sidebarring here. When Chucky pulled the plug, just the literal pulling the plug kind of thing. Chucky has just been so freaking great with his one-liners and stuff. And just his mannerisms and everything he says. He dropped another line. And again, the context of this is extremely brutal, because a lot of these lines that he drops are sourced right out of him trying to kill someone. And it's, I don't condone killing of any kind. It is wrong. Not good. It's bad. And I say that, and I watch a serial killer killing doll, which is ironic a little bit. But anyways, the line that he drops, and I wrote it down, he's trying to coax Jake into killing Lexi. They went back to the mansion, Lexi's mansion, and you can see the fire damage and everything. And basically, okay, they get into an argument, and she trips, she falls, and Jake's holding on. Chucky's coaxing her, and Chucky's coaxing her. Chucky is coaxing Jake to let her go and just take the plunge, do the kill. And he just calls her out being like a carrot on training wheels. Like, I shouldn't laugh. He's got these crazy, wild statements that he just shouts out of his little doll mouth. It's wild. That aside, that whole sequence now, when they go to the mansion, this is when we get confirmation. Okay, Lexi is alive because Lexi approaches Jake in the hospital, and we get that dynamic there. Like, okay, Chucky's alive, and then she comes to the realization, wow, you told Chucky to kill me. You wanted me dead. Like, I didn't think I was doing anything that horrible. You wanted me dead. What's wrong with you? Kind of stuff. Granted, he wanted to kill her. That is really, really fucked up. And she reacted very plausible about it. I would say within the confines of reasonability, within reason, she acted appropriately. She realized she had to come to terms, though, and work with him because no one else was going to believe her. She tried to talk to her parents. Her parents totally flat out gave her shit. Again, within reason. She had a party that she wasn't supposed to. The house literally burned down at the cause of Chucky and Jake. So that dynamic isn't working well between her and her parents. She definitely is displaying much more affection towards her sister, which I'm glad we're getting to see that unfold. So she teams up with Jake. They realize, okay, we got to find out where Chucky is. So they think back at the house. We'll go try there. Now, their relationship obviously has been bully and victim. To get this dynamic, and I felt like it was a great weight off of each other's shoulders to just be caught in the situation where they're looking for Chucky. They're in this house and they're just venting. Jake keeps asking, "Are you okay?" And she just lets out the truth, like, I'm not okay. And they're pinpointing little things that they can even relate on. And I really appreciate how they're having this kind of development and this bonding session, I guess you could say. I think it's very powerful. And I think it's a good reflection too, because I feel like everyone's been bullied. I've been bullied. And when I was in elementary school and I was bullied, you can, in retrospect, you can pinpoint and see the pain that your bullies have input and put out onto you. And I think that when you can kind of strip down those walls, you can kind of form that common ground. And I think this show does a great job because you get Lexi and you get Jake caught in a very dire situation, but then they realize that they do have certain things that are relatable. And I know Lexi says we're not friends or anything like that, but I feel like, again, this is a concrete foundation and starting of a friendship. And it came out of a really horrible situation because, again, one of the boys died. But I do feel like, okay, we're definitely going to get a lot more development here than I thought we were. I thought we're just going to get Lexi as a horrible person. We're meant to not like her. And then Chucky is going to eventually kill her off, which could still happen. But I'm happy that I'm kind of turning around a little bit on her, that we're seeing a little bit more of her backstory. And we're seeing how she's kind of growing to, I don't want to say respect, but kind of open up a little bit more and just kind of be a better character. That's all I'm trying to say. So that being said, Lexi's turning around a little bit. Jake is trying to catch up with everything that's going on. He failed the test. So Chucky tried to coax him. He didn't go for it. He didn't kill Lexi. And I'm so glad he didn't, because I think that was just a great, powerful moment. Like, I'm not going to be like you, especially after we got this scene that he's trying to turn people into killers, like this Eddie Caputo guy at the time. But it'll be very cool to see how much more defiant Jake becomes and much more confident he becomes as a character. I think that'll be very powerful. We got a comment. Tony Walton in the chat. She gives blondes a bad name. Yes, she should be mad. But, I tiptoe around who deserves to die. I don't like talking like that. But in the sense of the show, yeah, there's many shows out there in the media that do like a great job and a great portrayal. Like, yeah, this character, like, you just want to hate her so much and like you want to see her get killed and stuff like that, which is horrible to say about anyone. Again, looking at this from a perspective of the show, I will admit, like, she was just a super annoying character and I hated how she was treating Jake. And that was executed good in a way that, okay, we got to see how Jake was dealing with it and how Jake was the victim through the first few episodes here. And now we are seeing how she is the victim. She is looked at as, second aside to her younger sister, but she adores her sister and she adores Caroline a lot. Her parents just disregard her quite often. So we're getting to see again how she's the victim, how she puts that out and amplifies that onto Jake. And it's just this horrible domino effect, essentially. So again, this show is doing a very, I feel like, a good job at kind of putting bullying into a perspective that viewers can see, they can witness, they can understand, aside from the killer doll aspect. But there you go. So Lexi is a character, like I feel like she's definitely turning around. She was still mean in this episode, but this is again a U-turn and a starting point, I think, for a friendship and a new path to unfold between these two characters, which I think is great. We didn't get much of, obviously, Jake's cousin in this. He was tripping out. I don't know what it is, but whenever there's like the scenes where you use your peripheral vision and you see Chucky just walking, like quick walk in the background, it cracks me up every time. And in this sense, I'm trying to wonder, okay, he's clearly not alone. He's got the doctors in the room, which is good. Not that it would stop Chucky, but he's drugged out and all he sees is this doll just like pitter patter down the hallway multiple times. So Chucky's just trying to fuck with this kid. Yeah. Anyways, he was on the back burner and we got a little bit more development between him and the dad because it was brought to the dad's attention that, hey, you project so much onto your kid about trying to do track and everything like that. That's its own storyline, which I'm sure they'll get more in depth with in future episodes because clearly the kid was lying. He lied to his dad full out. So again, Devon's mom addresses the murder and the murder of the boy. And then we get Devon, though, he's going out and he's trying to look more into the Chucky stuff, the Charles Lee Ray, urban legends, you could say. And I like this because then we get into him looking at all these newspaper articles and reading things, and we get references to everything, all the different movies. I feel like not specifically like movie, but we get Nika referenced in this. We get Tiffany referenced. Like we get so much more just kind of plastered in there, and I'm so happy they did that because on top of the Eddie Caputo, all of these other references and these nods to the expanded Chucky verse, I think it's great. I absolutely loved it. And he comes to terms again. He's a podcaster. He looks into the horror vibes and the murder stuff of the towns and everything. His mom's a cop, so he's got an interest in this kind of thing. So he's doing the research and he's doing a great job at finding it. So that progresses on, and he comes to terms that something is wrong, and this wrong thing is related to Chucky. Before I continue any further, though, I got to stop for a quick ad break because I've just been rambling. I need to let someone else ramble. So enjoy this quick ad break, and we'll be right back. And we're back. All right. So we have, yes, podcaster. He's doing the research, and he comes to the terms that, okay, got to bring this information in. We got to talk. Now, when Lexi and Jake were at the house and Chucky was like jumping up trying to slash at Lexi's feet, he's not looking so good. He, again, classic Chucky, he's damaged and everything. And I'm wondering at what point we're going to get him put into another body, or we're going to see another Chucky doll kind of come and take his place as a shared consciousness kind of thing. Again, who knows what'll happen. But he's not looking good. Half of his face is melted, but he's still 100% functional. No one else is suspecting Chucky is obviously of any cause of this, except Devon's mom, who says, okay, there's something going on because Chucky is always at the scene of every single crime, but it's hard to pinpoint Jake because Jake isn't necessarily at all these crimes. And there is vindication in this end scene of this episode because you have this other cop who takes Chucky, brings Chucky because he's commissioned to take the doll back to Caroline as per the parents. So when he gets murdered, because it was a long buildup, and Chucky's got some more great dialogue for this, like, since I seen you, I can't stand you, and all this stuff. And he kills him so brutally, throws a scalpel, goes into the guy's back, guy falls onto his back, paralyzes him from his spine, and he gets a whole bunch of needles in his chest. No one notices this guy dead in Caroline's room until after the fact when Chucky pulls the plug. Anyways, so Chucky is there. He's not looking too good. And this is, again, the scene that I think vindicates Jake because this guy died. And the whole time that he arrived to the hospital, this cop, Devon's mom witnessed him arrive with Jake and Lexi. He goes in with the doll. And then immediately from then on, Jake is taken in by the cop, interviewed, everything like that. And then the sirens go off. And that's when they find, again, okay, in the Caroline's room, the cop is dead. And who was in the room? Chucky. So I think that's what sets up, okay, Jake's vindication. He is out now. He's not connected in this wholeheartedly. Now, Tony Walton says, great thing. Once people find out that Jake is an accomplice to murder, do you think Devin's mom will take Jake in? It's tough to say because I mean, he is, can you necessarily say he's an accomplice to it? Because if you think about it, I mean, Chucky was sent in there obviously to kill Lexi, but I feel like no matter what, Jake can't be really placed as or labeled as an accomplice. He never wanted anyone else to get killed. He was just, his primary target was Lexi. I don't think Lexi's going to come around and say that Jake wanted her to get killed. I think, whoa, yikes, you are out of there. What a comment. I think that it'll be interesting to see, because I do believe that we'll have Lexi get to the point in the relationship with Jake where she won't oust him out or call him out or anything like that. I do think that we'll have a relationship that grows from that point on. And I think that'll come to the point where, hey, maybe Devin's mom will say, like, okay, Jake, were you involved with this? Like, what's going on? And at some point, sooner or later, like, Chucky's going to be witnessed by multiple people because he can't keep this going on well, he probably could if he desperately tried, but he's getting cocky because at the end of the episode, when everyone's baffled by the dead body, Chucky's just sitting there and he just rolls up a middle finger and drops the bird to not only Jake and Lexi, but now officially to Devin as well. So we got the three amigos kind of just going in here, and they're going to take on Chucky. And 100% I'm down. I'm all for that. I really, really do think this is just a great kind of take and perspective, because in the past we've had Chucky go up against, Andy. We've had Chucky go up against adults. But to have just teenagers, kind of, I don't want to say like Scream vibe, but just teenagers go in trying to take out the doll. I just think it's fun. It's just a fresh perspective. Meet right in the middle between kid and adult. You got teenagers, and let's have them team up and just go to town. I think this will be really, really fun. So I like where this is going. I think this episode was great. We got to, again, see Charles Lee Ray in his youth, kind of what he's been up to going on. I think we're going to be getting a lot more of that, obviously, in future episodes here. But he's just been such an interesting character just to kind of be diving into throughout this show. And again, we're getting great developments from the characters themselves, Lexi, Jake, all that. There's a lot more that's unfinished, though. We need to see what's going on. What is the end goal? What is Chucky up to? Why is he here? I do think that there's going to be a cliffhanger at the end of this series. I really do. I think that there's still a good door that can open up for more opportunities. But at this point, they've definitely just been putting the theme on that, hey, Chucky's trying to recruit. He's trying to get people and instigate them to kill. So at this point, we know it's not Jake. Jake's been holding out. So it'll be interesting to see, what happens next. And with that, I will close out my thoughts here. Oh my gosh, these comments. What the heck? I close out my thoughts. And until next time, I will be back. So next Wednesday is Chucky night. And until next time, we'll see you in the search bar. Have a good one.